Close the door, Bob.
My little welcome to thing.
Oh, sure.
Oh, good. Weird.
Whoa.
Oh!
That looks freaky.
Yeah,
what
we got that. I know we got a little light thing going.
And it keeps doing it too.
Okay.
Personally, I think hello and welcome to the show. Personally, it looks like I'm glowing.
You are.
I am glowing because it's hot as
hell. Really.
Here.
Turn a little bit this way. Oh, we're good. Hello.
Happy Friday
Happy
to you,
Friday.
Mama.
Oh, I'm so happy it's Friday already.
Yeah.
It has
Very
been
exciting.
If you don't know this about me, besides being a co-host on Hit TV on Mingle Media, and also a writer, yeah, I don't know. I am also a real estate broker, so I've been doing some house selling lately also. So I'm tired. Yeah.
Yes, you have been. So anyway, welcome to Relationship Rehab here. I'm Lee, and this is my husband, Paul. We are the writers of CoupleDumb.com, and that was weird. What was weird?
You see, just fell off. Yeah.
You fell off?
Yes, you fell off.
It happens. Get your back.
Wait, you can't get kicked out. You are the kicker, not the kickee.
Yeah, I thought you were a bouncer.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's see, what's going on? What's going on? It's one of the things that we talk a lot about when we write about stuff on Coupledom, which is we talk about only about relationships, everything about relationships, anything that affects relationships, and we talk about all kinds of relationships. We talk about marriages, dating, parenting, how the media affects us, and stuff like that. So, one of the things that affects all relationships is stress. And this is not the topic of today, but we
just need to point it out.
But we need to point it out because it's like one of the bigger stressors that people sometimes completely ignore is waiting. Waiting is like, God, I don't know.
I don't wait well.
We don't wait well. We are very impatient.
Yeah.
I mean, 21 years. I think that I made you into me, actually.
Yeah,
I used to be very patient when we got married.
And I'm still relatively patient, but not with waiting. Yeah, not like sitting and waiting for an
email, the phone to ring.
Yeah.
So, I bring this up because we've been waiting 2 weeks now for the agent stuff.
Actually, that's right.
No, it'll be Monday. It'll be 2 weeks.
Monday will be 2 weeks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, are we a little distracted? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we able to do what we do? Sure. Are we able to do it the best that we can? Probably.
I don't. I mean, I think it were
I mean, we could fake it really well
right.
and nobody would notice, but
we're just doing it with stressors.
yes. And of course, we also have the stressor of having the kids home for the summer. We have the stressor that we have to figure out something for these kids to do.
Oh, yeah. The fact that we have to go into the pool every day.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Which
I
you can't really see. You can't, well, actually, you can tell. My little raccoon. Can you see the raccoon?
Tell what you did?
Yeah. Can you see the raccoon? Yeah. Okay. Swimming. So, I bring this up because as a parent, I can share my stupid moments. In fact, we are coming up with some new websites within the next month, and one of them is ParentDumb. And it's just the stupid things you do as parents. So one of the stupid things I've done as a parent happened on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, I was swimming with my boys, and growing up in Southern California, I used to go swimming pretty much every day in the summer.
I'm not a big swimmer. So
Paul's not the swimming guy. I'm the one with the history. I'm the one with the love of the water. So when yeah. So when I was a kid, I mean, and when I mean kid, I mean from like the age of 5 to 17. I was in the pool every day in the summer. So you know, with my cousins, with my sister, you know, and family and whatever. So we'd spend the whole day there. We had rafts and stuff like that to keep us entertained. And we had a really big pool. We lived in Torrance.
Very big.
And we had an unregulated pool. That's what the people would always say, that our pool was just like out of control. It was huge.
And forever deep.
And forever deep. It was like 12 feet in the deepest part. So we would, you know, play with the grass and whatever, and, you know, spend all day, you know, coming up with new and dangerous ways of enjoying ourselves. So I decided on Tuesday to show my 6-year-old Bobby some fun things to do. So, you know, I taught him how to, you know, jump in the pool with, you know, holding the inner tube, you know, and then he thought that was like the cat's meow. He was like so excited about that, and he kept doing that. And I'm like, hey, here's something else you could do. And I had one of those long rafts on the, you know, in the pool, and here I'm wearing my sunglasses, of course, because I've got the 44-year-old eyes that can't handle the sun. And I dove onto the raft. Well, 44-year-old eyes, overweight body, and, you know, generally not as lithe as I used to be, you know, and just crashed into that thing as if it were like cement.
Yeah, the raft kind of fought back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hit it wrong. I squished my face on it, basically running down my glasses down my nose, which was just horrible pain. And of course, the girls ended up in my back because that was just too much pressure for my.
Actually, the raft, you didn't land on your face. The raft smacked you. It just up and.
You think so?
Yeah.
I like a bat to my face. So that's what I felt like. And I mean, I just remember just the like my glasses just being pulled down my nose.
Yeah.
Really, you know. And when I got up, I thought for sure I had just wrecked my face. And of course, because of my genetics, you know, I got up and everything was fine. Not even a bloody nose.
No.
But I did bruise, and that's why I got the little raccoon going. So, yeah.
Got something in my eye.
Yeah. So, let's get to, so that's Parentum, that's going to be coming out in a few weeks.
That's right.
So, you're going to have Parentum, what else do we have?
Sexdom?
Is it Sexdom? Sex-Dum?
Yeah.
.com. There's a few more.
Yeah.
We're going to have a bunch of them coming out because we have so much stuff, so much writing. So we just decided to diversify.
That's right. So much to do.
So much to do because, you know, we have so much time on our hands. But the good news is that our 3-year-old is starting school like a month and a half, so we'll have a lot more time. Okay, so myths, love myths. We've been writing about it on Coupledom. We thought we'd expand on the show.
That's right. These are all the relationship myths.
And if you're just joining us, just know that you are watching Relationship Rehab with Lee and Paul from Coupledom.com. You're on MingleMediaTV.com, the fastest growing social TV network on the internet. And if you're not on it, you know.
Sucks to be you.
Sucks to be you. Okay, so, wait, before I do that, today's post was done by another Mingle Media.
That's right.
Host, Robin Craig, who's up for an Emmy this weekend, so we send her a lot of love, light and energy, and hope she gets her Emmy. She's already won 2.
Yeah.
I know, Emmy Award winner, MingleMediaTV.com.
Yep.
So Robin, good luck.
Yeah.
So, number 1 myth.
What is it?
Love conquers all.
Yeah.
What a bunch of bullshit. You know, I could safely say that I adore this man, and I have been loving him for a very long time.
Yay.
But that wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah, no. Love was
not even.
Yeah, maybe some therapy and
a
couple of drinks help.
Yeah. You know, I mean, when we talk about love conquering all, you know, then it's like historically. I mean, these are the platitudes and the crap that people give you when you're going through stress, when you're going through relationship stress, and you know they want you to feel better. Actually, they just do it so that they could feel better, like if they did something for you, which they really didn't. I mean, they're just wasting your time. So when major stressors hit you, you know, and like in our case, we went through a time of infertility,
which is a major stressor.
Which is a major stressor, which is like core stressors. You know, I mean, you question your gender. You know, and that's tough. You know, when you're supposed to play wife and you're figuring, God, I can't even play woman, because it was my problem. So
question whether God hates you.
Yeah, that was your issue.
That was mine.
My issue was more like, you know, I can't give my husband what he deserves, and so all the stress on it. I mean, and only because we had tools like being able to talk to each other, stuff like that. It wasn't necessarily because of our love, because I know a lot of couples who adore each other go through these stressors and just don't make it. You know, it's like you need to have more than just love. You know, the connection, the affection is there, but ain't enough.
Yeah, I mean,
to deal with the stress of the day.
See, the thing is, I guess if we expand the concept of love, then maybe it would work. If we get self-love and all those kind of things in there, but I don't think that's what they're talking about.
No.
No.
I mean, if you think of the wars, I mean, it's like even just, okay, here's an easy one, Civil War. You're going to tell me, you know, when they were saying that brother fighting brother, father fighting son, all these things, there was love there, and there was some bullets. So, caca.
Yes.
Don't believe that. Number 2, love hurts. This is the one that really bothers me the most.
Now,
I mean, really, out of everything, when people describe love as this pain, you know, like, you know.
So we're not talking leather and stuff right now, are we? No. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the good kind. That's a good kind. No, we're not talking about that.
Shame on you. This is a family show, kind of, sort of.
Kind of, yeah, right. Adam's family.
I swear, I mean, one of the next shows, I'm going to do it without my pants on, just to keep it, you know.
Right. Keep it lively.
Keep it lively. Anyway, so, what am I talking about? Love hurts. Okay, so, shit.
I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go. We describe love as if you have the flu.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? It's like, oh, I'm all queasy inside. I got butterflies. I can't sleep at night. I'm lightheaded. I'm dizzy. I'm like, good God.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need a vaccine more than you.
Or at least an MRI.
CAT scan.
CAT.
That's not love. That's not love at all. I mean, you know, and it's not supposed to hurt. We're not supposed to be hurting each other.
Well, I mean, your insurance doesn't cover love, okay? So it's not allowed to hurt. That's the...
You see my mouse on the wall?
No.
I lost the mouse.
Oh, no. Is it under you?
Probably.
Probably.
Sorry, lost the mouse. Wait, found the mouse.
Okay, that's good.
Anyway, sorry. You're sliding your hand onto my butt.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, look, it's not supposed to hurt.
No.
And, you know, what that is really, you know, all these myths, when we come down to it, really are just the foundation. They're laying a foundation so that we could all be relationship addicts.
Yeah.
And it's like misery loves company. So as long as they keep these ideas going, as long as they keep these beliefs and myths going, then they know that they're safe in not being exposed and having unhealthy love. Okay? This is why we all have unhealthy love. That, you know, that we have these very strong beliefs of what it should be like. We have these strong beliefs that love should be something that you know, if something happens, then you should be pained because of your love. And that isn't it.
Well, see, this also goes to, we've got this very adolescent belief as to what love is. So, you know, who can be more in love than an adolescent girl? Well, pretty much anybody, really. But still, that's where...
It's the throwing yourself on the bed to cry.
Yeah.
Okay?
And same thing, adolescent boy in love. It's like, oh, yo.
Yeah. and you do stupid things.
Stupid things.
You know,
Oh yeah, right.
Hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the
to prove your love.
I mean, okay. Let's see. I was an adolescent a while ago.
Right.
A long time ago.
About 10 years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know that angst. We never grow out of that in terms of love. It's like if you think of a human being developmentally, we should be growing at every stop. So that basically you've got your baby, and their developmental leaps and bounds are usually physical.
Mm-hmm.
But they also develop things that you don't even notice. Things like the bond between the child and the caretaker, and then you have the fear of strangers, and these are all developmental things that they're learning, and we barely even notice them, but we start noticing them more as they start growing up in terms of their emotional development. And because we notice when they start walking and crawling and all that other stuff, but we're not really noticing the emotional ones. So once they get to be around adolescent age, then you start noticing, oh well, now they're falling in love, or they're having their crushes, and we encourage that, which I don't have any issues with. But what we don't encourage is a healthy form of dealing with them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all about, it's like when the teenage girl is showing her angstiness and just torn up because the boy she likes and blah blah blah. We're like, okay, that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Which it is. I'm not saying it's not.
Mm-hmm.
However, when that same teenage girl at 15 is doing the same crap 10 years later when she's 25,
well, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but
I usually do.
You would. That is true. On the air, making sure everybody knows. Didn't they, at one point, when they talked about developmental stages, didn't they used to just stop it at beginning adulthood?
Yeah, well, no, before that.
Before that,
when we talked about, emotional development, we stop it there.
Right.
We talk about, it's like, actually, development in general. We talk about, when you talk about like Erickson and Maslow and all that, our abilities to, what our reason is for living. We talk about, we go all the way to death.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. However, when we talk about cognition, when we talk about our ability to understand things, going from the concrete to the abstract, and all of these have a lot to do with love.
Yes, right.
That's Piaget, and he basically stops right at adolescence.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, after that you ain't going to get any better than that. But there's so much more to it. It's like, yes, we have the ability, like at this point, I'm becoming a developmental psychologist right on air. But, I was thinking to myself, where he went wrong is that, okay, so we go from the concrete when we're toddlers and, in our pre-double-digit age, so like 8, 9, 10, we're still concrete thinkers then. Everything's black and white. And then as we move into adolescence, things become gray. And it's when we live in that gray that we can imbue whatever we do with lots of emotionality, and that's where I think that after that we need to create another developmental stage. Say, okay, and now that you got that, it's being able to deal with things with the appropriate amount of emotion, and not everything is
painful.
It's like when here's a good one. Okay, Twilight fans. Twilight just came out. They had the premiere. It didn't come out. It premiered last night in Los Angeles, and there's like a gajillion girls there crying.
Because they're in love.
Crying. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Okay, they're hot. I can't say that they're not. I've watched all the movies. I've read all the books. I know what we're talking about. But to stand there and cry, like, oh my God, this is my unrequited love for, Rob, Pattinson and all that. Because I won't say the other one because
she doesn't like him.
I don't like him.
I don't understand any
You
of it.
look like a Jew, sorry.
I don't understand any of it.
Because you're a boy.
I'm a boy.
You're a boy. And girls just, thrive on that angst, which is basically, that's all this is about.
Right. And these movies, the amount of angst.
Yeah, seriously.
They just ooze angst. I watched it on the TV because being a boy, there's no way that I could actually be in that much femaleness, all screaming, and my head explodes and stuff.
Yeah. And I wouldn't take him because I swear to God he'd grow breasts.
Yeah.
The amount of estrogen in that room when you're watching those movies, and usually I watch it the day it comes out because I go with my daughter and a bunch of other girls, and it becomes like, a girly thing. And the squealing. I mean, the last movie was, was it Eclipse? Not Eclipse.
No.
Shit, what was it? It is Eclipse.
No, that's all.
I don't know. I don't remember now. The second one.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, throughout the movie, 9-year-olds, seriously, I had a group of 9-year-olds sitting behind me, and I'm sitting next to my daughter, my sister-in-law, like 2 seats away. And they're like, every time Taylor Lautner would come on, it'd be like, and they start screaming and whatever, and like, oh, you're so hot, and blah, blah, blah. 9 years old. 9 years old. And it just drove me nuts. And at one point, they were making like really lewd comments, like, oh, you're so hot, I want that body, blah, blah, blah. 9-year-olds. Their mother's sitting right next to them, not smacking their mouth the way they should be. And, finally I just got up and I had to like set them straight and said, you wouldn't know what to do with his body if you had it. And of course, half of the theater applauded me. The other half.
You said it really quietly. Right?
I said it really quietly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. And then at the end of the movie, when they're like all upset because he asked her to marry him, and they're like, oh no, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, they're like watching these things, and they've never even read the book. The illiterate little shit, and it just pissed me off. So I got up and I had to set them straight again. You see, that right there is that whole that living in that fantasy crap, because love is not fantasy. You can have fantasies when you're in love, but that's a different thing altogether. That's a different show.
Yeah, right. That goes back to the leather.
That goes back to the leather.
It always comes back to leather.
Uniforms of all kinds.
Okay, another myth.
Anyway,
okay,
men aren't romantic and women are sensitive.
Oh.
Okay, let me tell you. If you've lived more than 20 years on this earth, you're going to run into a lot of different kinds of people. And I have met some incredibly insensitive women in my day, and I have met some beautiful men in my day. Present company. Heartless bitches and really beautiful men. So that one just doesn't even make sense. The idea that the woman has to carry the sensitivity of a relationship.
Right.
That's the myth. The myth is that, if there's ever going to be any kind of sensitivity, any kind of connection like that, it's going to have to come from the woman. It has to be initiated by the woman. That romance for a man is only basically taught to him by his woman.
Right. Yeah.
And that's all bullshit.
Yes, it is.
That is not true at all.
I find it interesting that you've got basically two myths that are prevalent, and people hold them in their mind. They're completely contradictory.
Yeah.
Because you've got the love hurts, angsty, again, Twilight. You got to say that guy is all kinds of sensitive, and he's romantic, and what's his name? Edward. Yeah. You see, yet you have the two conflicting myths, because it's like, oh no, angsty is okay, painful and that kind of stuff, but you can't be sensitive.
Which takes us to another myth, that if a man is vulnerable, and if a man is emotionally available, then he's a pussy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if a woman is independent, if a woman isn't into this angsty stuff, is a bit liberated, then she hates men.
You're right.
So if she hates men, then she can never really honor a man, so then she's going to be cold to her man. I mean, these are all these beliefs that we've got going in the society that are just so detrimental to all of us. You know, it's like a woman. You know, women actually are out there that believe that if they hold any kind of belief that shows them to be independent, or to think for themselves, or liberated in any of those ways, you know, to think that they actually have a choice over their bodies and shit like that. Then by that, by the same token, you have to hate the man.
Right.
You know, and I mean that the man is in the boss.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, and hating men,
right.
But by default.
The thing is, we're enculturated to go to war. We're enculturated to
right.
to blame.
Right.
So, if by the nature of saying I'm independent, it means that people see it as, therefore I have to put somebody down. I have to push away from something to be independent.
Right.
So.
And actually, I wrote about this. It's going to come out on Monday. But, growing up in a Cuban household, here I am, little Latina girl in Los Angeles. And, not uncommon, but, we're Cuban, so that was uncommon.
You have Latina girls in Los Angeles?
Latina girl. Chola girl, but that wasn't me. No, those would be the Mexican girls. That was not me.
Yeah. And they're the ones with the hair that pushed up in the Sharpie.
The Sharpie. Put the Sharpie on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, that was enough.
No.
But,
your mother would kick your butt if you tried to do gamey stuff.
No. But, no, we grew up, in a Latin household. My sister was older than me. I had to chaperone her. I mean, that's how Latin we were. And, my sister's 50, so do the math. I mean, I was chaperoning her in the late 70s, or mid to late 70s, until she got married in 1980. So, I mean, that was very uncommon, but that's, that's what we were supposed to do. In my home, the idea that my father would serve dinner every night. Did he eat with the family? Not necessarily. He liked to watch TV. So my mother had to actually serve him in front of the TV and better frickin' make sure that his water was sitting there for him, that it was chilled properly, and my mother was my mother was and is a bitch. I mean, it's not like, she was this civil subservient woman.
Yeah, this is not some abusive thing where...
Yeah, no, this was just the way it was supposed to be.
Right.
And, his dessert already had to be sitting there waiting for him, so that there was no transition in the meal. It was like, he finished and he had his dessert, And if it wasn't like that, it would be like, what the hell, So that's what I grew up with. I grew up with, men didn't do anything in the home. I grew up with men, it's like the idea of men doing any kind of housework was like, are you kidding me? So, to think differently, which I did, obviously, was this, tantamount to saying that our culture was wrong. My father often, would tell me things like, because he was so unenlightened, that, yeah, he has gotten better, because he's had to, would say things like, you're never going to get a man like that. You can't, men aren't going to like that, that you're unlovable. I mean, he actually, fucker. Like that. I've done the therapy, I'm better. Okay. But I still have to throw in the... So, family members thought I was gay because I was so free-thinking, and I would say things like, when I get married, I'm never going to have, my husband won't be...
That, unfortunately, is the axiom to this myth. Right. Is if you're independent, then, if you're an independent woman, then you're a lesbian. Yeah. And if you're, a sensitive man, then you're
gay. Yeah. So, I used to get that all the time. I mean, I actually had, family members say things like, Like, well, it's okay if you want to bring your girlfriend. It's like, what girlfriend? You know, it's like I didn't have the stones back then to say, I don't know, but I like dick. You know, I didn't have, ask me now, you know. But, what a family I grew up in. Anyway, then they wonder, how did you become a therapist? Why did you become a therapist?
Why are there two therapists in the family?
Exactly. But
overflow.
I have demand.
Right.
You know, supply and demand. So anyway, all of this because I just didn't think the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
All of this because, and on the flip side, I adored men.
Mm-hmm.
I thought men were just the coolest thing, you know, and when I would, you know, start relationships with men, you know, as friends, I just found them fascinating, and I've always been like that.
Yeah, I do find that interesting, because he is one of the biggest advocates of men.
Yeah.
I see he's a little bit harsh on women, to be...
Well, because I think that we get a lot of, I think that what we have is that sympathy vote, and I think I would respect it a lot more if it wasn't done out of sympathy.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, women don't need sympathy. You know, I don't do sympathy well.
Mm-hmm.
I never have. For me, sympathy is a word in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it. I don't like it. I like people to be empowered. You know, that is my thing. So, for women to get pissy, I have a friend, Jennifer, who's, you know, great friend, powerful woman, who is constantly about, you know, women's rights and all that, and she always tells me that I'm too easy on the guys. And I'm like, you know, there's a lot of guy bashing, and I don't appreciate that. I don't think we need to be bashing. I don't think that we need to bash one so that the other one could have their place in the light. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that that's the problem that we have in our gender society, that we feel that if a man, you know, lets a woman, you know, be equal to him, then he's a pussy, he's a fat, all these things, all these horrible things that you say to them, you know, the same way that if a woman wants to be independent, but she wants to be equal to a man, then she's saying, oh, well, no, she wants him to take charge, and it's like, no, can't we just get along?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway.
Who are we?
We're Lee and Paul from Coupledom.com here doing Relationship Rehab on Mingle Media TV. We talk about relationships, and we're talking about the myths about love and relationships now, and getting all philosophical and getting all Rodney King talking about getting along.
Everybody should just get along.
Yeah, seriously.
That's true. Get the big dough eyes.
Get the big dough. You know, I mean, it's like we always have to pick sides, and this is one of the myths. Arguing is normal. And you know what? This is the basis of everything that we do. You know, because arguing is nothing but competition.
Right.
And we believe that when we're in a relationship, that if we're not competing, then the other one's going to take over. You know, that, you know, we use words like partnership, we use words like 50-50, we use words like, you know, we're in this together, baby, you know, family, things like that, and yet we always feel that we need to one-up each other, and that's what arguing is about.
Yeah, typical concept of going into a relationship is I want to be in a relationship, but I don't want to lose my independence. You know, all in one breath. You know, it's like I want to be part of something, but I want to be separate from that something.
Right.
You know, obviously, you can't do that.
No.
You know, there's a logical fallacy attached to that one.
Yeah.
So, what was I saying? Oh, the arguing thing. So the arguing is this way of trying to keep that logical fallacy working. Because you go into the relationship and you make these you know, big commitments to the relationship, because in a way that's what the arguing is. That's why you're communicating, or else you just walk away. But at the same time, you hold that independence. So it's like, I'm going to give you everything, but I'm also taking it away at the same time. Because that's the logic
Good
of...
Lord, you have completely lost me on this one. I think I took a nap.
Okay, so why do you argue?
I don't.
Yeah, well, why do people argue in general? Is what they're doing is they're communicating.
Okay.
Okay? There is
No, I don't even think that they're communicating. What they're doing is saying, I'm right.
Well, there's an aspect, though, of communicating compared to just...
I think it's sharing an opinion.
Okay.
And sharing an opinion, and when you share that opinion, it's like we believe that our opinions are facts. And that's why we argue. Because if they do not accept our opinion, then they are not accepting us because we honestly think that our opinions define us, and that our opinions are so incredibly important. Am I making your point?
This is exactly what I just said.
I know. Hey, now I'm saying it in English.
What?
It's like, where are you going?
That's exactly what I said.
Seriously? Did you bring up Star Wars or anything like that?
No.
That's
exactly. You were just repeating word for word what I said.
You lie. Anyway, so, it's like, I'm trying to remember like any arguments we had like at the beginning, because we don't argue anymore. It's just not worth it to me. I mean, it's like, okay, if my opinion on something is, I think that guy's an asshole. And Paul's like, well, actually, I think he's a pretty nice guy. It's like, really? Okay. Well, I accept your opinion. Does that sway my opinion? Well, I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Because it's just an opinion. Now, to fight over I can't understand anything that you would argue over other than that.
Yeah, right.
Other than an opinion. Because it's all opinion. I think that the kids